All right, this is Donna Stott with Your Coaching Matters, and we're going to be talking today about absentee owners as a business source. Absentee owners as a business source. This is Coach Donna Stott. You guys may have heard me before with our database course or with our buyers course. You may have heard my husband Mike Stott with our For Sale by Owner course or our expired course or one of our other coaches as well. So we're going to be talking today about a fairly new course. We only started teaching it last year, which is absentee owners. Denise, you come in here one sec. I can't see my notes.
You need to turn this. You need to.
It ends the meeting. We're going to get started in just a second. So are any of you all having some problems with your go-to business source? Anybody having some problems, and you can put this in the chat if you like, with your go-to business sources? Maybe you've been working for sale by owners or short sales. Some of us have still been working short sales and REOs. Maybe you've tried, I love this graphic, Denise, you've been trying some internet leads and that's sort of turned upside down. Maybe you're working expireds, or maybe you've got networking groups, social media, sign calls, your center of influence. Anyone having trouble with any of these business sources lately? And you guys can chat in or raise your hand. We're actually going to look at several of these and why you may be having trouble with them. What if there was another way? What if there was another way? So I want to jump right to why you want to stay on for this entire class today, and that reason is results. Now there are some more good reasons I'm going to go over with you in a minute, but I want you to really commit and listen carefully today. If you do, you're going to learn how adding absentee owners to your business source can give you some returns immediately, and we know it can be duplicated because we sold this business in 2007 and it's still running today and creating some huge profits. So I'm giving you some basic numbers here. If you've got about 1,000 absentee owners, you work them the way we tell you to for a year, you ought to have about 20 plus sales a year. If you've got 2,000, we're talking 40 sales. If you've got 3,000, we're talking 60 sales a year. This is an easy to duplicate system, and it practically runs itself once you do the hard upfront work first. So business starts coming to you. Now notice I didn't say it was easy, but it's easy to duplicate, and that's an important difference. Once it's set up, you're just going to do your basic great service and lead follow-up, and you're going to get your income. So I don't want you to make a mistake that this is easy. It's not easy. If you're looking for easy, this isn't it. This takes time, money, and effort to get it set up, and it takes dedication and commitment to get your first deals. And like anything else that's valuable, it takes discipline to do the work each and every day. So if you're willing and able to work the system, this does work, and it works really well. I'm going to give you one other good reason to stay on until the end. You're going to learn our exact results using this business source from our personal past. Yep, I'm going to be vulnerable, and I am opening it up completely to our results down to the absolute how many deals did we do a year for the years that we did this. I'm also going to include our projections on our results so far because we restarted this again in Georgia last year, which is why I created this course, because I thought, you know, a lot of other people could be benefiting from this too. So if you're watching this live, after the recording gets turned off in the end, you're going to get a code word to email me that's going to enter you for a drawing to get one of our classes for free. So the gentleman that was talking to us when we first started before we turned the recording on, you actually could get that class for free, this class or one of our other classes, if you buy this class. So you have to buy, it has to be live attendees, and can you stay on for that? If you're getting 2 courses, I would give you 2 courses for the price of 1 as well. So what is an absentee owner? All right, let's start with this really basic. What is an absentee owner? And what's the difference between an investor owner and an absentee owner? All right, so investor owners are people who own 1 or more investment properties no matter where they live, Absentee owners are investor owners, but they do not live near the investment properties. In other words, they need more help. All right? So what makes us the expert? What makes us the expert? And this is an important question to be asking if you're considering taking this class. What makes you the expert, Donna, Mike, Your Coaching Matters team? Well, we personally built this business source from $0 to $2.6 million. You are reading that right, $2.6 million in gross commission income over a 15-year period. That's not the total. That was 1 year. So I'm going to give you a little bit of history, and I think this is important. Military buyers were our primary source of business from the mid-'80s into the early '90s. They were easy to target. We lived near, our office was near a Marine base. They provided a predictable source, and it was really easy because base housing was falling apart, so it wasn't an attractive choice when people came to Hawaii, where our office was located. Most incoming military were able to buy because these generous housing allowances they had and that the prices worked. So we developed and printed a comprehensive package called the Aloha Kit that we sent out to newcomers, and it created trust and loyalty immediately because it told them everything they needed to know about moving to Hawaii. So we did a great job training agents to handle military buyers, and we had a lot of agents because we had a lot of leads. We literally had thousands of leads every year. There are a lot of bases on Oahu. So several dozen agents were working those leads, and we were having about 350 sales a year at an average price of $170,000. Sounds like a lot, but remember we had a lot of agents, so we were paying them a lot, and that's going to come up soon in a few minutes why that's important. You know, everything was set, and then everything changed. Prices went up dramatically. Military buyers got priced out of the market. Some new base housing, they started getting rid of all that old nasty base housing and built some new one. Same advertising, same trained staff, and in 1989 we had over 350 military buyer sales, and in 1991 we had 7. Ouch, right? Ouch. So what makes us the expert? What we discovered is that the market was in charge of our success, and we needed to find a new source that would work no matter what the prices or interest rate or anything was happening. So I'm going to show you today how absentee owners accounted for 60 to 75% of our income from 1992, that year after we lost all those military buyers, before we sold our shares of the company to family that's still running this program successfully on Oahu. Now you might say, well, where did those remaining percentage of sales, where did that 25 to 35% of those deals come from? And they came from past clients, center of influence, open houses, sign calls, our own neighborhoods, just the basic stuff most agents do. So I want you to understand we did no other marketing for leads, and remember we earned that last year before we sold the company 181 sales, almost 2.7 million in gross commission income, and this was one at a time, right? No FSBOs, no expireds, no Zillow, no internet leads, although towards the end we started having our own website, which was new at that time. So switching to absentee owners as our primary source, we exceeded over 100 deals a year for 7 years in a row, the last 7 years before we left. Our peak year was that last year in 2007. I'm going to show you that at the end. And we were listing 10 properties a month, primarily absentee owners. And here's a big key, guys, all while working normal business hours. Does that sound like something good to you, normal business hours? We proved that absentee owners as a business source was a solution. It worked through the ups and downs of the other lead sources, and our market did not continue up. It actually went down. Our market went down from 93 to 2000, straight down for 7 years. But best of all, when the market did turn around, which it always does, I mean, right now we're all at a high, right? But it's going to go down eventually. It will. But what happened to us is our sales went through the roof, along with tripling our average close prices, because we controlled the listings we went after, setting standards that paid us more. That's something you can do and control with absentee owners. So we profited more with 181 sales and a small group of agents, very, very small, than we had doing 300 to 400 transactions with a large number of buyer's agents. Very important, the profitability of absentee owners. So today you're going to get 9 simple steps showing exactly how we did it. And I love this 9 simple steps because I wrote, well, it may not be simple, but there are 9 distinct steps, and you are going to see them all today on this free call, whether you elect to buy the course or not. Okay, you're going to get all 9 steps. Because here's the truth. With 24 years of experience, we created this from scratch. Nobody taught us how to do it. We did a lot of things right, but we also did a lot of things wrong. And what you're going to learn today is the right way to do this business source so you don't have to recreate the wheel yourself. Now, let's go back to some of those traditional sources we talked about at the beginning of today's call. All right, there was good reason why we weren't doing a more traditional business by early 1990s. The market had changed, which it always will. What we were doing wasn't working anymore, and you guys might be seeing some of that in your markets. You see, we needed to find a predictable source of leads that was less likely to dry up when the market changed, right? So what may be challenging with some traditional sources today? Let's take a look at that. Is anybody out there doing much in short sales? Anybody doing much short sales? There's a few tiny parts of the country that are doing some short sale business, just a few. REOs. Anybody know of an REO agent that's going out of business right now because everything was REOs and there's not very many left? Right? For sale by owners, it's a great business source until the for sale by owners all start selling on their own. The inventory gets so low that the agents go and sell the for sale by owners without listing them. Right? For sale by owners are still good in our market. They may be great in your market, but for some of you, I'm hearing from you, you know, I've been working for sale by owners for years. It's been working really, really well for me, except for now they're selling on their own. Expired listings. Are anybody seeing fewer expired listings to prospect or more competition? Buyers being priced out of your market. Cold internet needs being expensive and not panning out, at least not very quickly. You see, these sources are drying up in some of your markets. And I want to address cold door knocking, just as it just sold, I have a buyer calls, or circle prospecting. Guys, that's like trying to find a needle in a haystack. You need dozens of scripts for each situation with those people. There's no focus on an ideal client. There's no ability to focus on an ideal client because it's very, very broad. You know, and let's address paid leads where we have upfront costs or referral fees from internet sources. Future buyers and sellers will gladly take your free information and assistance while they're looking, yet the National Association of Realtors reports over 80% of internet leads end up working with someone they know or are personally referred to when it comes to ACT. Ouch, right? Who's seen some stats on how much we as an industry are paying per closed internet lead? You know, Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com, Fast Expert, House Values, all those, right? Who's seen some of those? You see, it's not profitable for most agents. I've seen as an industry, I've seen sources that say we are as an industry, are you guys all sitting down, spending over $3,000 per closed lead for internet leads. $3,000 per closed lead. That means I worked 300-400 of them, paid a lot of money to get those, and that cost was $3,000 and I get one closed. Ouch. There are a few agents that are making good money on this, but thousands and thousands of you guys out there are losing big time. You know, agents are saying to us, I want to add a long-term, primarily a listing business comprised of people who want to hear from us, trust us, and give us their contact information, and even have loyalty. That's what I'm hearing from my coaching clients. That's what I want. Now, I don't know how many of you guys know who Steve Gordon is. I'm going to be inviting you to a webinar he's going to do next Thursday morning. He wrote Unstoppable Referrals, which I love that book, Unstoppable Referrals, and he's going to do a call for us next week, about a 90-minute call. But Steve, I'm on his email, and he does a daily briefing, and he said just yesterday, notice this is dated yesterday, he wrote this about a client that he has, right? He was in a consultation. And what he basically says in a nutshell is we are failing because we're going after the wrong leads. If this is true, who are the right leads in your business? Always, if you're doing a good job, they're going to include past clients and center of influence. But do you have enough past clients and center of influence to meet your goals? That's the question. If you don't, you may want to be looking at absentee owners. So let's look at the positives of absentee owners. All right, here's some of the positives. They're easier to work with overall less emotion. Could anybody raise your hand if you'd like to end some of the drama? All right. Less competition because there actually are agents out there, and I hope none of them are on this call right now, that simply will not work tenant-occupied properties or out-of-state owners. There are actually people who say that. I would have an absentee owner call me and say, will you list my house because the agent I really like won't. They don't work with out-of-state owners, or they don't work with tenant-occupied properties, right? There's less competition. It takes less time than meeting people face-to-face. It's easier to develop rapport because we've been giving them some valuable information consistently. That's a little hint about what's coming up in our 9 steps. You set the criteria of who is even on the list. You're only going to market to your ideal absentee owner client in the area you want, in the price range you want, how long they've owned it. We're going to talk all about that in class number 1 when you're setting up your list. There's less competition because, honestly, absentee owners may never see your competition. They don't see another sign in the neighborhood. Okay? They don't see somebody else's ad. They're not getting something from someone else. And can you say normal business hours? This is one of my favorite parts of absentee owners. Part of the reason we wanted to work with absentee owners is we have 5 kids, and they were little. And we wanted to spend evenings and weekends with our kids. So we decided to go after absentee owners in part because we could work at normal business hours. You may never meet these people in person, and you may never talk to them outside of normal business hours. How many of you think that's a huge benefit in and of itself? So today we're going to show you the 9 steps we took to become masters at working absentee owners using an easy to duplicate system that kept us listing and selling property when a lot of our competition went out of business when the market declined from 93 to 2000. All right, a lot of our competition went out of business. We did not. So our upcoming 3-week class is a step-by-step tutorial about how we reinvented our business to become even more lucrative than it had ever been before, which we couldn't imagine at the time. How you too can capitalize on this overlooked source, and we're going to go through the 9 steps so you can do it yourself if you don't take the class. The class is going to teach you exactly how to and give you my personal hands-on advice along the way. But you can do it yourself, and we're going to give you all 9 steps today. And before you ask, or if you've already asked in the chat box, I don't know, Denise I think is monitoring the chat box right now for me, we will send you the webinar slides upon request. So all you need to do now, guys, you don't have to keep screenshotting the pages. Just watch for now. And if you decide to take the classes, by the way, they're on the same day of the week, Thursdays, at the same time as we're doing this class, not next week, but starting July 21st, 28th, and August 4th. So 2 weeks from today, when you sign up for the class, you're going to get homework next week to give you a jump start before the class starts, and then the class starts on July 21st. So I wanted to answer that question a couple people had asked. So step number 1, we're going to go right into the 9 steps now. Step number 1, we identify what type of absentee owners are in your area, because depending on where you are in the country and what market you guys have, your absentee owners may be very, very different. And defining who they are is an important first step before you do anything else, all right? Type 1 is a former homeowner. Okay, this is their former home. They rented it out when they moved away or moved up. Maybe they couldn't sell it. You know, we came off of a pretty steep bad 5 or 7 years in a row, depending on your area. And some people just couldn't sell it, and they're sort of accidental absentee owners, right? Then we have type 2, which are vacation or second home owners. Those are your resort areas mostly. And type 3 are pure investor owners. They bought it as an investment and they're using it as an investment vehicle. For some of you guys who read our white paper on Brexit in you, we should be having a lot of pure investor owners out there right now. If you want a copy of that article, shoot me a note. So you want to take a few hours and do the research. What type of absentee owners are in your area? You know, talk to your broker, talk to your manager, talk to other agents if you can't figure it out yourself. This identifies who you're going to market to primarily, your ideal client, so you can focus your language that you're using when you talk to them and in your marketing materials. So the second part that we're identifying is how many of them. Are there enough so that 2 to 7% of the total listing with you every year is worth the effort? We're looking for a 2 to 7% return on this group. All right? So are there enough? You know, if there are only 100 absentee owners in your entire market area, 2% is not very many deals, right? That's not something I'd recommend. You know, but if you've got a couple of thousand, even 1,000, even 800 or 900, I know people that are actually doing about 500 or 600 and having some good results, right? So we'll talk about budget in a few minutes. I don't want to get ahead of myself. So let's go to step 2. Step 2 is you're going to start an absentee owner database. If you already have a database system, great. You're just going to start a new category called absentee owners, right? You begin adding people in. So once you've identified what type they are, we download the information. We teach you that in class number 1. And you start with you or your company's past clients who are likely to become absentee owners or who already are. All right, so begin with that group. You can probably look in your company or your own database and identify a few or a few dozen or even a few hundred that you know that already have some background with you, right? And then we're going to add absentee owners that you're downloading from your tax records, right? If you don't have access to your tax records, we do have some ideas to get around that, to figure out how that works. And we'll talk to you in class number 1 about that. But you want to be sure to have some minimum standards. Not every owner belongs in your system. And in the class, we're going to help each and every person in the class, specifically one-on-one, how to create the minimums that make sense for your particular personal plan. Because Agent A over here's plan is going to be different from Agent B, Agent C, depending on your market area, your average price range, how many absentee owners total that you have to choose from. Can you refine a lot because there's a lot, or can you not, right? So we're going to help you individually in the class. So step number 3, you want to obtain the owner's contact information. Now from the tax rolls, you should get their name, their full names, owner's names, and you should also get a mailing address where the tax bill is being mailed to, right? Other information you can obtain are their phone numbers and their emails, right? Now you can pay a service to look those things up for you, or you can get it as you go, as you work the system, and we're going to teach you how to do that. Notice that this is optional. You know, what I would love for you to do as part of the contact of your absentee owners is doing some calls to them, but for some of you, you're not going to call, right? I know some of you. I see you. I'm not going to call, all right? Then don't bother paying somebody for phone numbers if you're not going to call. Right? But to get the best results, you want to invest in this up front. You're going to start slower, but it can still work without calling. So we're going to give you more about what to say if you do call in the class. And in our class, we're going to teach you about hiring somebody to both find the information and keep it cleaned up. It's not as expensive as you might think. And remember, nobody else is contacting, so it's not the same as calling a for sale by owner or an expired listing who's talked to 10 other agents. Nobody's calling these people, all right? By the way, eventually you are going to have to talk to them to get listings and sales. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. So step 4, property management decision. All right. One of the keys to this system is to be a resource for property management. Now, that doesn't mean you have to have a property management division, but it is one of the options. I'm either going to start one of my own, which requires capital and staff. It's what we're doing. We did start a property management division, all right? Or you can partner with a property manager who will not compete with you, right? But will manage the rental properties you'll get offered, which you will. There will be people who do not like their current management company, and they want to keep their investment property for now, and they need a property manager. So you have to have somebody who won't compete with you for the listings. They're pure property management company. So you're either going to start one or you're going to find one, right? Now, why would a property manager do this? Well, they're going to win with more property management accounts, and you're going to win by partnering with someone that can even help pay for part of your absentee owner program without the hassle of managing it yourself. So if you don't have the capital and staff to start your own property management company or have no desire to do so, find somebody, sell them on it, and they can even pay for part of your system, all right, which is a really cool idea. So let's go to step 5, newsletter or postcard template. Newsletter or postcard template. You want to create an absentee owner newsletter or postcard that educates as well as creates curiosity. Okay, I wonder if I could get more. I wonder what my house is worth. I wonder if I need to be doing repairs. I wonder if I should sell it and move up. I wonder if I should do a 1031 exchange. All right, we're going to create curiosity, and we teach you how to do this in class 2. And always be coming from a spirit of contribution. I'm trying to help you with your property. Most owners don't even know what their investment returns are. They need your help. So we want to create a budget that you can live with for 12 to 18 months without changing, doing some kind of promotion, postcard, newsletter, or combination. You want to create a template that's easy to duplicate so it's simple. The hard ones, guys, are the first couple. I tell people it may take you a few months to actually get all the steps down to get your first newsletter or postcard out. Postcard would be faster, right? But after that, it becomes easier and easier and easier. We're drop and replace what we had last time. We're just fill in the blank. We already have it. You want to decide the frequency you're going to mail. For some of you guys, I have one client who's doing it every 5 weeks. It's an odd number, 5 weeks, but that's okay. That's what her plan is every 5 weeks. We mail quarterly. I have some other people that are mailing every 3 or 4 weeks. So you decide what is that budget and what am I actually sending, because a newsletter costs a lot more than a postcard. You want to brand it using some title and section headings that say the same every mailing. Consistency is key, all right? Coca-Cola doesn't change its logo often, right? Consistency is key. And a new idea that came since the last time is creating a landing page. And this was a brilliant addition. One of my coaching clients, well, actually she took the course first and then she hired me as a coach. She does simply postcards and sends them to a landing page every time. Collects all their email information, their phone number information, their property information on a landing page. It's a brilliant idea. I'm going to be using that too. If we're giving them valuable information so that they can create more wealth, it's creating value and trust. All right? Many speakers have said in the past, how do you get rich? You help other people get rich. And that's what we're talking about here, is really coming from that spirit of contribution. Okay, so step 6, business reply, mail permit, and postal services. All right, one of the reasons one of my clients decided to do postcards instead of newsletters with a business reply mail. I'm hearing somebody in the background, Denise. I don't know if you can check on that. What they decided to do was, it was too hard for them to get the business reply mail account set up, so they decided just to do postcards in the landing page. Hey, it worked. We recommend a business reply mail account. That's how many of you guys know, if you get a magazine and you shake it, all those cards that come out, that's business reply mail. So we recommend you have a business reply mail card in your newsletter if you're sending a newsletter, so people can fill it out, pop it back in the mail, no postage. We're removing any obstacles to them getting back to us, right? So we want to offer different items on that business reply mail card in each issue to create more and more replies every mailing that you do. Want to hire the right quality local printer and decide whether you're going to stuff it your own or have the printer do it for you. We used to hire our kids. Now we have a printer that does it for us. Okay, and you decide how you're going to do your postage. You can set it up with the post office and just put it into an account, and your printer can do it for you, and that's what we're doing. All right, step number 7. Step number 7 out of 9, we're getting there, guys. You want to create the plan and you calendar it. This is critical, guys. It can't be sometimes. Can't be sometimes. You have to get the steps in your written schedule as appointments for when you're going to do the work. And then you just keep your appointments. And you set this up as a repeating event, and it's going to get done every single time. You never forget. Some of the things you're going to want to calendar: dates to complete steps 1 through 6 that we talked about, steps 1 through 6. Dates you're going to write. This is a repeating event. Dates you're going to mail. Repeating event. Dates you're going to call if you're calling. Repeating events. And of course, you got to work your lead follow-up system and be on your daily schedule every day. Yes, you actually have to provide great lead follow-up and great listing services for this to work. Okay? Let's move on to step number 8, the right scripts and questions. No, you don't have to call to make this work. You can just have them mail to them and have them mail back or go to a landing page. But eventually, you're going to have to talk to them to take listings and make sales, right? Anybody disagree? You have to talk to them, right? So you've got to learn and practice the right scripts and the right questions that are going to cause the absentee owners to either question owning properties in your area or show them it's a good time to buy some more of them. You either create a buyer or a seller. You see, it's a great thing to be able to say to somebody, hey, are you interested in selling your investment? No, I love my investment. It's giving me great returns. Well, terrific. Then why don't we buy another one? Right? Makes sense. They either should be a buyer or a seller. One of the scripts we used to use, we called the piggy bank. Right? We used to call the equity in properties the absentee owner's piggy bank. And we'd talk in terms of how that piggy bank had grown, that would be their equity, and how they might not be earning the returns they could get elsewhere on that equity. The key is if that's the truth in your market area, is to know where else in the country is a good investment at all times. We had referral agents all over the country that we referred our sellers to buy replacement properties somewhere else. See, a lot of these people don't want to get out of investments. They just need to get into an investment that has a better return for them, right? Pardon me, I'm going to take a little sip of tea. One of my favorite stories was about a teacher who was actually negative every month, about $200 a month on his investment property that he owned. And he had some repairs looming in the next couple of years. The roof had leaked. We knew we were going to have to replace it. All the appliances were old. He knew, I've got big repairs coming up, and I'm already negative $200 a month, and I'm only a teacher. I don't make that much money. What am I going to do, right? So what we did is we sold it for him, and he did a 1031 exchange, which you learn about in the class. Super easy, not that complicated. Don't let it scare you. And he took his equity and purchased 2 duplexes, by the way, as a total coincidence. They happen to be in Georgia. He paid cash for them with his equity and for his property in Hawaii, and he changed his cash flow from a negative $200 a month with repairs looming. These were 2 brand new duplexes, by the way, and to a positive cash flow of $2,800 a month. Negative $200, positive $2,800. That's a $36,000 a year sway, which is almost what he was making as a teacher. Do you think that changed his life? Talk about coming from a spirit of contribution. This changed this man's life, right? That's exciting. When we're coming from that spirit of contribution, we're inviting them to talk to their CPA and financial advisor about their investments, right? You wanna know some things, know enough about some things like gain and 1031 exchanges. You want to ask some questions like, when was the last time you did a major remodel or replaced the roof or the appliances or the flooring or the landscaping? How many investors would say, I don't even remember the last time I did any of that? What's the next thing, part of that script or conversation? Well, gosh, I guess that's probably coming up for you in the near future, isn't it? Ouch, right? How much are you getting for rent? When was the last time you raised rent? Are you happy with your property manager? Remember, you either are or have a great property manager resource. Have you really thought about how this property could be providing you more income than it already is? Right? Here's a key. Learn how your people want to be contacted. Many absentee owners are older and they enjoy a phone conversation. They love talking about this property that they're never talking to anybody about. They love the idea of improving their cash flow. All right? So learn how they like to be contacted. And again, many investor owners are older, and that may make it easy for you. In today's world, even they have email most of the time. So let's look at step number 9, creating a longer-term plan that grows as you grow this business. We want to start with low-cost items and moderate returns like 1 to 3% a year to start. And then we want to grow our plan into higher cost systems that are going to give you that maximum returns, that 4 to 7% return, which is really about peak. So these may include mailing types and frequency, what the quality of your mailing is, emailing, low cost, calling more often, both warm calls and follow-up. Events of a lot of owners are in one area. You know, we did several events in other areas where there were major military bases like San Diego and DC, where we would invite everybody in the surrounding area that was on our mail list for several hundred miles and say, hey, we're going to be at this hotel and do a little event for you and really talk about your properties. We would have people come into hotels and we would put on what we called the dog and pony show, right? Note that there are many ways to make money from this, and we haven't even mentioned the opportunity to buy some of these properties yourself or to keep or flip when somebody needs to get out fast. That happens now and then. You run into somebody who says, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you called. I have got to get my equity out of this and I need it next week, right? You want to have a cash investor on hand, because if you've got a cash investor on hand that's either you or somebody else, gives you even more opportunities and something to offer owners. Do you want to sell wholesale instead of resale? I can get you somebody who will buy it in the next couple of weeks, right? So other things that your plan may include as you grow are auto dialers and other call or text or email technology, maybe a website just for your absentee owners, maybe a blog, maybe a chat where they can talk to each other. This is so easy with a Facebook page. Past newsletter effort issues could be on your website, your forms, your return on investment and return on equity calculators, 1031 exchange information, or a Facebook page just for absentee owners in your market area that you control, that's private, that nobody else can see, that you only let people in if they're truly an absentee owner in your list. Right? So we're going to get deep into this in class number 3, this creating a long-term plan. So if you follow these 9 steps and create an absentee owner business that allows you to live a normal work hour life and create the business you want, isn't that exciting? I mean, that's thinking really big. So now you have a choice to make, all right? Now you have a choice to make. Thanks, Donna, for the free information, and I'll do it myself, option 1, and I'll figure it out as I go along, and that's okay. If that's the way you want to go, I'm honored to have given you the 9 steps, because the class isn't cheap. And option number 2 is you can receive my personal help to build this listing and sales source into a system within your own business so you can have, finally, a predictable system that grows and improves year after year faster. All right? So what do you need to know? And what we're going to teach you in our course are all 9 steps in detail. Can't possibly do them all in this tutorial webinar today. Giving you the 9 steps, we're going to do 3 steps a week for 3 weeks and go in great detail, about an hour to hour and a half each. how to find the absentee owners, including a tip to get someone else in your business who may be thrilled to do it for you, by the way, how to calculate returns. You need to be able to talk to people about return on equity versus return on investment. Completely different numbers, and it's so easy you're going to be shocked. Basics on 1031 exchange law and procedures, and paperwork that you can use on your site for 1031. So a little page that you can use to send out to your owners about it. How to work with tenant-occupied properties. For those of you who have a fear about working with tenant-occupied properties, we're going to teach you how to do it. Remember, we did it over and over and over and over again. How to manage your new database. Secrets to creating trust and loyalty. So are you ready to become an absentee owner expert? 3 1 to 1.5 hour training modules, same day and time over the next July 21st, 28th, and August 4th. We're going to completely detail including specific secrets like how we hired our team, what were the roles of each member of our team. Okay, remember we only had a few agents, but we had a lot of staff to do 181 transactions a year, right? That's a value of $597. Bonus materials, including questionnaires you can use, templates for the newsletter and business reply mail card, how to these are actual samples. How to calculate return on investment and equity, our exclusive CMA form, and more. That's worth about $897. Scripts and objection handlers, specific to use with absentee owners, $597 value. Exclusive membership in our Facebook mastermind group, only for people who've taken this course. Now, I approved a few of you guys into that group over the last week. If you don't buy the class, you're going to get kicked out. It's only for people who've taken the course. Priceless. Support by email, Facebook group, lifetime access to any updated classes. So those of you who've taken the class before, you get the next class for free. You just have to let me know that you want in it, or you can access it from the website. That's worth $2,000 all by itself. Unlimited access to the Coaches In, which is 1 hour, up to 1 hour a week, absolutely coaching where you can ask any question, not even limited to absentee owners. That's worth $1,164 a year. Total value is over $5,000. And if all you got with this package was a business source with a system and a plan that never dries up, would it be worth it? If that's all you got was a system and a plan that never dried up, no matter what happened in the market, would it be worth it? The ability to calculate return on equity so you can intelligently talk to investor owners, would it be worth it? A system you could use with any database, not just absentee owners, would it be worth it? You bet it would. And here's the good news. It's not going to cost you $5,000. Yes, it would be worth it, no doubt. This exact system has earned our family and staff over $12 million in income over the last 20 years. If you could duplicate that, is it worth 10 times that cost, 100 times that cost? You bet it would be. But we aren't charging that, not even a quarter of that. You get it all for $597. And all you have to do is go to absenteeownercourse.com. absenteeownercourse.com. You can sign up right there, and you guys can go on and start signing up right now because space is limited. And I'm going to explain to you why in a few minutes. So as promised, if you stayed with us, this is our actual sales history using this system. Started the system in 1992, did 40 transactions. The next year, 41, 46, 45. Remember what I told you happened between 93 and 2000 in our market? It went down for 7 straight years. We lost about 60% of value in our market. These were tough years, and I'll tell you what, during these years, most of our competition went out of business because they went from 40 transactions down to 0, right? We maintained during that time. And as a matter of fact, in 97, we had built enough trust and confidence with people who were being hit. They started getting out of the market. So our sales went up. 98, 74, 99, 89. By the time we finally hit the bottom, we broke 100 sales. By the time we hit the bottom, had the market been better, we would have done a lot better in this but we stayed in business and we stayed profitable. 2001, it grew to 124. We stayed steady for a year. 138, 152, 170 sales. In 2006, our peak year was 181 sales. And by the way, we had over 300 property management accounts. Add that average income per month up. It was paying for 100% of our staff and our expenses with our property management accounts. In 2007, we sold our share of the company, yet the team continues to market to a smaller part of that database, still creating 70 to 90 sales a year, and they've grown property management to over 400. That's 24 years later. This is still working. Notice, by the way, we sold our share. When I teach my database class, I tell you about selling your database. Notice it took us a while to get things right, what to say, what to write, how to work it, and it didn't help. We'd lost all that value, but we did learn and perfect this, and now we can share what we learned with you. You do not have to struggle like we did. You see, this isn't unique to us. We aren't the magic ingredient. The system is. Did you catch that? It's still working today, 24 years later, without any input from us at all. You can do this too. So as promised, this is what we're doing now. Last year we obtained about 2,000 absentee owner tax records here in Georgia, and we did it for free, by the way. We didn't pay anybody. You'll learn how to do that in Class 1. We wrote and published Issue 1 in February this year, and we're mailing our second print issue right now. That's right. We are working the system with you right now. Our projections are 20 sales by year end. We have 4 closed so far. These were all investors that actually purchased another one because our market is so hot and has such great returns right now. And we have 10 new property management accounts by the end of the year. We have 4 of those done so far. So our 2017 projections are 40 plus sales and adding 30 property management accounts. Why only 30? Because that's a net increase, because we add them all the time, but we're also selling them. Okay, so we might take over management, and then 6 months later we sell the property for them at the end of their lease. So investing in this source is big profits, but it is an investment of your time and money. So I'm going to share with you just a little bit, and we'll go into more detail in the class. $3,000 a mailing is what it costs us 4 times a year plus staffing. Okay, so we have some assistants. We have a property manager and dedicated sales agent too. Expected income, we should be in the next year be making $300,000 to $500,000 a year, which should be $200,000 to $400,000 in profit after the expenses. That's after paying for all of this, right? Worth it? No brainer, guys. The question is, are you ready to work with us? So what was that cost? Retail, $597. And if you're watching this as a recording, that's your investment. Okay? You go to www.absenteeownercourse.com right now. You sign up there. This is what the login looks like. You hit the sign up button. And if you're thinking, wow, that's a lot of money, Donna, I want you to keep watching. Why does this class cost $597? I have 3 good reasons. Reason number 1, some of you guys are throwing away more than $597 a month on cold internet leads that waste a ton of your time chasing leads that have no loyalty, that want you to work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and they don't even respect your advice when you do get them, right? Reason number 2, you will replenish the money you spend on this course. That money is going to come back to you with the actions you take. Absolutely, you're going to get that money. But once you spend the time on something other than this course, you never get it back. Time disappears forever. This class can teach you how to profit over $200,000 a year from one business source, year after year, and it's something that gets easier and easier every year instead of you having to recreate it every day. I mean, I know we all work expires and for sale by owners, but if you don't come in and do the work, it's done, right? And it's hard. Yes, your scripts get a little bit easier, but you've got to do it. You're recreating that business every single day. We've proven that this can earn as much as $2.5 million, $2.6, $2.7 million in 1 year if you work it as little as 15 years. I bet you could do it even faster, taking our knowledge with you from the start instead of to have to make it up as you go along, which is what we did. Here's reason number 3, and this is a critical one. If you can't afford the course, you can't afford to work the program. And I don't want to take your money if you can't afford to work the program, period. All right? AbsenteeOwnerCourse.com. Isn't it time to invest your time on something that can change your career forever? You're going to spend 3 hours on the class and another minimum 3 hours a week in homework. This may take several months before you get that first newsletter out. Postcards are faster. You're going to spend a few hours a week working the system forever. Notice I'm saying a few hours a week working the system. You're going to spend a lot more hours following up on the great loyal leads you get and in listing and selling homes. And best of all, in my book, you get to primarily work 8 to 5 Monday through Friday over the phone, by email, and by mail. Is that better than how you're spending your time now? Is that better than how you're spending your time now? Think about it. AbsenteeOwnerCourse.com. So, okay, Donna, I'm interested. What do I get for that $597 at AbsenteeOwnerCourse.com? You get 3 1 to 1.5 hour classes giving you those 9 steps in detail, exactly what to do. You get me personally to answer your specific questions as you do homework. Hey, I review your newsletter and help you get it edited correctly. Okay, I help you with the language individually in this class. That's why it's $597. I'm spending a lot of time with each person if you take advantage of it, right? You have to send it to me for me to do it. You get the entire community of agents that have taken it before. You get access to every future absentee owner class at no cost. You're paying a lot for this course, and it's lifetime access. You get my personal review of your first issue or postcard for editing and advice based on my experience. And you get every webinar recording forever, no additional cost. You review it at any time forever, including all the new materials. Now, guys, space is limited because I'm providing personal service during the course. I can't serve 50 of you at one time, so I'm not going to put that many in the class at once. Right? So it's time to do it. It's time to do it. Here's today's special, $100 off. We're going to take $100 off today. It's $497 today only. Space is limited. Go to the website now. Use the discount code AO100. That's A, the letter O, the number 1, the 00. You don't need the quotes, okay? AO100 at checkout, and it's going to give you $100 off today only. In fact, I think, Denise, you have this set up to expire on Saturday. You actually have today and tomorrow. Email, pardon? All right, great. We already have a couple of sign-ups. And don't worry, I'm going to give you your $100. I'm going to tell you in a minute how you're going to get that back. Email me questions at donnastott@yourcoachingmatters.com. Or look for the email of today's recording that we're going to send out for those of you who signed up if we don't fill the class today, absenteeownercourse.com. So questions, it's time for questions. I'm going to be looking at the chat at your questions now. I'm also turning the recording off because that special offer is only for those live on the call today. And remember, as promised, I'm going to give you a code word in a few minutes for you to enter to win this class or some other class for free. Okay, so that's on the next slide, but I'm turning the recording off now because I don't want to have that on the site forever. All right, so this last page and this last piece isn't going to be on our website for those that are watching this recording later. Remember, absenteeownercourse.com, code AO100.